Little Tree by Lauren Long. Deep in the forest, a little pine tree stood near her mother, on the edge of a meadow. It was spring, and she was 5 years old. She had many brothers and sisters, some bigger, some smaller. They were scattered across the meadow. Some she could barely see for the fireweed. Most were sheltered by old fallen pines and shaded by aspen trees. Little Tree shivered and laughed. A large beetle was climbing up her trunk. It tickled. A warm breeze blew through her needles. The warm sun shone on her branches. Little Tree was happy. Seasons and years passed. Little Tree was 10 years old. She had grown much taller, but she itched miserably. Wood mites had burrowed under her bark. Even the cool autumn winds could not soothe her. "Be patient, Little Tree," her mother said. "Soon winter will come. Then you will feel better." And so she did. Snow filled the meadow. Cold winds blew. The wood mites under her bark went to sleep. Little Tree drowsed happily, nodding to the other little pines. Spring came, and the wood mites awoke. They scratched and ate into the new wood under Little Tree's bark. She felt sick. Then, one day, a red-headed woodpecker stopped in her branches. Oh no! He was pecking a hole in Little Tree's bark. That hurt. "Be quiet, Little Tree," said her mother. "Woodpecker is helping you. He eats the mites under your bark. The holes he makes will fill with sap to trap new bugs. Your bark is thick and strong now. No new mites can bother you." And so it was. Woodpecker ate the wood mites and flew away. Sticky sap filled the holes. No new mites burrowed under Little Tree's bark. Little Tree grew and grew, reaching toward the sky. Her branches became thicker and wider. They touched the branches of her brothers and sisters in the meadow. At last, the meadow was no more. On the fourth floor, under her branches, ferns, mushrooms, and blackberry vines sprang up, thick as a jungle. One summer day, the clouds piled up, hiding the sun. The winds blew hard. Rain spattered Little Tree's branches. Lightning streaked from the clouds. It struck near Little Tree. Branches began to burn, sending fire from tree to tree. The wind blew hard. It blew the fire away from Little Tree. Then rain came down hard and fast. It put out the fire before it could burn up the whole forest. Little Tree and her brothers and sisters were still strong and green, but where Little Tree's older family still had stood, there were only blackened trunks and bare ground. For many years, the meadow trees had dropped their pine cones in the wind. These cones were full of baby tree seeds, but the forest was too cool and shady for them to grow. The pine cones had fallen on the thick forest floor and slept there. Now, the fire and the hot summer sun awakened them. The pine cones burst open. When the rains came, the seeds sank into the bare earth. Soon the ground was dotted with tiny pine trees. The burned pines nourished the baby trees. Fireweed filled the open ground. Aspen trees sprang up to shade the seedlings. This was a new meadow. Some day Little Tree's children would fill it, just as Little Tree and her family had filled the old meadow. That is the way of the earth.